stay focused on what those are, measure those, and then also helps your team understand how to stay focused and measure those. And it allows you, what the app really allows you to do is it allows you to have your team culture be around those KPIs. So let me just take a look at this and let me just break this down for you a little bit, because remember what I said at the beginning, what you focus on expands. Okay. So you can focus on a lot of things, right? I mean, you know that when you, for example, I'm just going to use this as an example. You go to a party and you walk into a space and you just know who are the happy people and who are the people who are going to just bring you down, right? The energy around someone really comes from what they talk about, what they focus on, how they look at the world. You get to make the same choice here with your business, with Advancement Navigator and AdCost. You can decide, this is what I want to focus on. This is what I want my team to be about. And the app is going to support you if you choose to have it focus on what I call the 1 inch of the business, which is your lead measure. And here's the distinction with a lead measure. This is another concept that you probably won't hear anywhere else really in the space. I know I hadn't until I started working with the app. And so hats off to your leadership for really understanding that this is important to understand. You really can't control who decides to join your team, who decides to become a customer. You really can't control who's going to make that decision. But what you can control is how many times you share the story, how many times you show someone what's involved in becoming a customer, what's involved in becoming a team member. You can totally control that. And so when that's in your control, and I would challenge you, go to anyone in your team, even someone at corporate, and say, okay, if I talk to and share the story here of AdCost with 100 people this month versus 100 people this year, what am I going to experience? Is that going to, am I going to have the same size business with those two endeavors? Answers clearly, the person that's doing 100 times this month or this week is going to have a much bigger business than the person who's doing it 100 times a year for a couple of reasons. One is, when you compress time like that, you just get better at it and you get on a roll and things get clearer and crisper and sharper in terms of your ability to have conversation with people. But the other part is that you're just talking to more people in a shorter period of time. The person over here that's doing 100 a year, it's just going to drag out and take a long time. So when you're building your business, we want you to think of the app you have here as helping you teach anyone new how to stay focused on the one thing that they can control. They can't control their Uncle Bob says, you're crazy. And they can't control if someone else says, I don't want to do this kind of business model. You just can't control that. But you can control how many times you tell the story. And the app is going to help you build a culture in your team that the most important thing that you look at is, let's just look at how many times the story is being told. And we'll show you how to do that when I get to the app in just a second. We measure exposures, which is how many times something's been sent out to someone. And we measure engagements, which is how many times that piece of information's been taken a look at. You also have statistics. And let me tell you, there's a great country western song, the stars might lie, but the numbers never do. Knowing your numbers is huge. And so you do want to use the app to help you track. I tried tracking on paper forever. I was terrible at it. And the app has been just my salvation because it tracks it for me. But you want to set a goal. You want to have a sense of, this is what I want to do every week. And again, be thinking of that goal in terms of that lead measure, that KPI. How many times am I going to tell the story? How many times am I going to share this story with people in the course of a day or a week or a month or a year? And then from a higher perspective, you want to support your team. You want to reward the people that deserve your time rather than the people that need your time. And, this is definitely one of those businesses where people get a little squeaky for sure, and they feel like they're doing a whole lot. And when you're trying to coach somebody, which as a leader in your company, you're going to end up coaching people. Someone shared with me that a lot is not a number and soon is not a date. So one of the things that you can do with your app is you can look at the front page, you can have them send you a screenshot and you can see their statistics. And then you can tell, if they say, oh, I've talked to so many people. Okay, this is coming from experience, right? I talked to so many people and I didn't have any way of really seeing how many people they talked to, except for them sharing with me honestly in a conversation what they'd done. With the app, it's a game changer because I can just say, send me a screenshot of your front page and I can see how many exposures they've had this week, this month, this year. I can see where they are. And the app is only going to measure brand new first time exposures that are legitimately new people hearing about what you're doing and not, them talking to the same neighbor or the same coworker 6 or 7 times. So you do have a way now as a leader with your AdvNav app to take a look and see who's actually engaging in activity, who's really exposing a lot of people to the story, who's maybe doing a lot of exposures and not necessarily getting good engagement. That tells you where you can coach them. So there's just a lot of stuff that you can do. So you can leverage the wizard button. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. The brag button's huge because that builds camaraderie and it helps people share what's going on in a way that can be fun, kind of like Candy Crush. And you're driving the right behavior, which is important because it's really easy to get busy rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. You just are doing your files, you're getting stuff organized. That's not what we do. What we do is tell the story. But then conversely, this isn't the military. It's not a forced march. This is all voluntary and lots of people are here for the community. But this app will help you distinguish who's in it for the community. And we welcome them with open arms, of course, but it tells you maybe not to spend quite so much time with those people from a one-on-one perspective, maybe keep them in the group events, but not necessarily be taking, a couple hours out of your day with them. So I'm going to show you the brag button, and I'm going to challenge you when we're done here to do the same thing, use that brag button. And I also want to have a conversation with you in a sec to, look at your stats and share your stats page with somebody, find out either a buddy that's in the business with you or the person right above you or whoever your leader is in your particular group and share that with them and say, what could I be doing better here to be moving forward and growing what I want to be growing? But then also commit to an activity goal with those people and say, look, I'm going to do 1 new reach out a day or 4 new reach outs a day or whatever it happens to be. And not necessarily have them be an accountability partner, but have them be the person that you report to with, did you actually do what you say you were going to do? And have them be someone that can walk you through, okay, why not? Maybe there's something that could be changed and tweaked. So I'm going to switch over to the app right now, just so that I can show you a few things on the app. So hang on 1 second. So hopefully you can see the app right here. And what I want to start with is I want to start with showing you the brag button because the brag button's really fun. You can come here and go to, let me just show you, let me go slowly. If you come down here and you click the more button right here, that's going to bring you to a page where you can see a whole bunch of different pieces to your business, which is huge. And you can click on statistics. And when statistics open up, you can open up each of these sections, which tell you some really powerful things about how you're doing. So for example, if you look at the top one, which is engagement, that tells you, and these are great numbers, 88% of the people that were sent some information engaged in it. So they had 26 people exposed and 88% actually looked at it. Now, the key thing here, if you take a look, this is lifetime and this is last 30 days. So here's a person with fabulous ratios right here. 88% are engaged, but in the last 30 days, they haven't done anything. So that would be a person from a coaching perspective you'd reach out to and say, hey, you are having terrific success. I see, it's kind of slowed down for you. Is it something that you want to be working with me on to get re-engaged, or what would you like to do? So you can use these statistics if they will, well, here's how they send you their statistics. First of all, if you come up here and you look at this brag button, if you click on that, it takes a screenshot. And then you can just come down here and click this share button. And if they click share, they can then send it to either you, if you are their direct leader, their upline. They can text it to you. They can send it through email. Hang on one second, my marker's not working, but they can send a text. They can send an email. They can send it through Messenger. If you go over, you can send it on Facebook. You can send it as a note. Now, this is on an iPhone, so it'll look a little different on an Android. An Android is going to be vertical this way. But basically, you can send it through any number of apps that you want to send that through. So if you've got, for example, if you've got a team channel that you all work through, go ahead and brag on yourself. 88% is a really exciting statistic. 93% of resources open is really exciting. So you can take a screenshot and send this to the group and say, hey guys, I've hit over 90% of the resources I send out get open. How are you doing? And you can just have a little friendly competition going on. And then you can take a look at email opt-in too and see what's going on. Oh, this is a screenshot. This is why I can't scale it up. But you can check in here. You've got some great email campaigns. When you ask people to opt in, you can see the percentage right here who have opted in. So these are numbers that help you measure what's going on in your business. So that's how you can use the brag button, or that's one way that you can use the brag button. Another thing you can do with the brag button is you can come back here, and when your leaderboard is here, you can open up your leaderboard. My phone's just a little delayed here. And let's just say you're down here and you're number 6. You're Jeffrey, but look at this. Jeffrey's right behind Antoine, and so is Liz, and so is Jim. So you know what I'd be doing if I were one of these guys? I'd be sending the other 3 a message saying, you're at 7. I'm going to beat you this week. You got the end of the week, your business is closing out. Why not go for a little friendly competition? So right here, you can click on this brag button. You can take a photo of the screen, and then you can post that in one of your groups. And you can just click share and have it post, and then be telling people, I'm coming after you, I'm going to come and beat you. Jim Rohn has that great story of, you might get 3 out of 10 and I only get 1 out of 10, but I can still beat you because I can talk to 100 and you might only talk to 30. So, you can always modify. Again, you can control that lead measure. You get to control how many times you tell the story. And that's really all that matters. If you can control that, where people fall, you've got some great systems that we've gone through here a little bit with the app in terms of how you can support them after the fact. But you are totally in control of how many times you tell the story. And that I find personally super empowering, because I get to create whatever I want, and I can make up in numbers for what I might lack in skill. And that's been my mantra all the way through, because I did not come into this industry with any experience. So I've had to do just that, learn, but also be prepared to maybe do a little more than someone who had a better skill set than I had. So with that, I think we, I wanted to just talk one more thing about your ratio and your statistics. Right here on the front page, when you see this number and you see these numbers here, these are really helpful for you in creating your own business plan. And I had one bullet on the slide that talks about it, that knowing your numbers really sets you free. And I will just say that, a lot of people come into this space and they sort of feel like, well, this is all fuzzy. I don't go to an office. It's not like a traditional business. How do I really control what's going on? How do I know that I'm going to be able to get to a certain level, a certain income, a certain team number size, or certain rank by whatever point, in time? I need to be there. Let's just say it's August right now, and by December or January 1st, I want to be at X, Y, or Z spot. When you really master your statistics and you know your numbers, then you can plan. Then you can go in and address your activity every day based on your own numbers. Now, you can't plan if you don't know your numbers. But like I said, if I knew that I had to talk to 100 people to get one, you know, in the beginning, I was terrible. So, okay, if those were my numbers, those were my numbers. But I was game to talk to 300 to get 3. Now, I didn't have to do that because, of course, after I talked to the first 100, I got better. But I didn't have this app, you know. And right now, you don't really have to worry about what you're going to say to people, because remember, you've got your resources right here. And when you click on your resources, you've got what to say. I'm going to click on @CostMetals. You've got right here. Oops, sorry. I don't know why that made that smaller, but let's see if I can make it bigger. Oh dear, I don't know what I did. Hopefully you can still see that. Sorry about that. See what happens if I make that bigger. Sorry about my screen. This is where my technical stuff gets a little smaller, but you've got in here all these invitations that you can choose from. And if you click on preview, it's right there. Let me see if I can't make that bigger, please. Let's try that. Nope, that didn't do it. Oh dear, I'm only making it worse. Sorry. Let's see if I can.
You know what?
Yep. Let me mute Dawn so she can tell me what to do. Hang on. I don't know why I'm going to mute.
Sorry, guys. Oops. Turn that off. Okay, so we are seeing it perfectly on your end, our end. So whatever's happening on your end, we are not seeing that same experience.
All right. So the point being that when you're getting started, even when you're not getting started, even if you've been around for a while, your new people joining your team, they don't have to go through a lot of the growth I had to go through, because you've got invitations right here, all written for you. So you don't have to master that skill set. It's all done for you in the app. So use the statistics that the app has, share them with your upline, share them with your leader, and say, where could I improve? What skills do I need to work on? Here are my numbers. But understand that as soon as you know your ratio, as soon as you know how many times do I have to tell the story to get someone to open a resource? How many times do I have to have someone open a resource in order to get someone to say, I want to be a customer? How many times do I have to have someone say, I definitely want to be a customer? Not only that, I can see the merit in this and I want to look at the income option. As soon as you know those numbers for yourself, then you can plan. And everyone comes into this space with a different set of skills. Everyone comes into this space with different abilities and learning curves. But the whole beautiful part about your leadership and your app is two things. It's all, most of sort of the stuff that I had to learn at the beginning is all pre-done for you. It's loaded, it's in your app. And then you've got leadership who have already been successful. They already know how to do this. And it's in their interest to coach you and teach you and support you in becoming successful. So it's a win-win situation. It's all the way around. The app is going to support you. The app is going to support your new people. Your team has great training and lots of events. I've seen the calendar. Use the calendar, use the events, and let the system really work for you until you know your numbers. And then as soon as you know your numbers, then it just becomes like almost like any other business of, this is what I have to do in order to have this result. And then you can map it out and you can put a timeline to it. So I want to just, I'm going to stop sharing my screen just to see if that might fix stuff. And I am happy to take some questions and go through a couple of things. But before we do, what I'd like to see in the chat is, I'd love to hear from a couple of you in terms of how, if you're up for it and you want to share a screenshot with us of what your stats are, so we can kind of see what you've been doing and what your ratios are and what your numbers are, that would be super helpful for everyone else to understand what that looks like. But if you have any questions, so long as it's not like a real tech question, I know we have Steffi on the line here, I'm sure, and she might be able to help us out. But just to respect everyone's time, let's stick with sort of app function questions as opposed to tech stuff, because that's best done with the support team and the support button. Anyone want to share what they've been doing in terms of reach outs and exposures in the chat so I can see what your goals are for who you want to touch base with? I'm just looking at the chat to see if anyone's in there. Got a quiet crew today. Okay, fair enough. Does anyone have any questions today that I can answer for you? Or you can raise your hand and we can have you share it in person, or you can put it into chat. Looks like we've done a great job. Excellent. Glad to hear there are no questions. All right, Dawn, I'm going to mute my line, and that way you can unmute. We won't have feedback. We just got a little tech issue going on, and you can fill me in if there's anything else that you would like me to cover and show. Hang on one second. I'm going to mute.
All right, everyone. Sorry about this. We're going back and forth. We're getting feedback today. But I think what's going on is it's the start of the Labor Day weekend and everyone's packing to head out of Dodge. So, all right. Steffi, do you have an update for us? All right, I showed that Dennis says, I have hundreds of leads from a previous advertising and it moving to the AdvNav for a drip campaign. Very good. Right on. Just keep plugging away at that a little at a time. Make sure that you don't bring in too many that you can't follow up with them because that's the key there. Raise your hand, Jen, if you want to talk more on that. Teasing, just no, physically, I'll watch you to see. Then I could always, if you ever, there we go. I'll mute out.
Yeah, Dennis, that's awesome. And the only thing I would say about bringing hundreds of people in, bring them in small groups for a number of reasons, because you do want to take advantage of all the labels, the notes, and all of that, so that you can find, you can keep track of who they are and you can sort them and see who they are, because it's easy to bring a lot of people in. I had someone on my team bring a whole bunch of people into their app, and then they couldn't find them within the list. And I was like, you got to bring them in with slowly so that you can label them, because that really makes following up and makes doing that drip campaign easier. But that's awesome that you're using it, because it's a good way. Yeah, you've been backpedaling. I know. It's like, that is the dynamic. I mean, I think we all kind of make that mistake of, oh, I got all these people, I'm going to bring them in. And then you realize, oh man, I didn't sort. So there are some really great sorting capabilities in the app, and it will help you stay organized. And I know I've talked about this in other trainings. It just is my personal experience from years of struggling with contact relationship management programs. I mean, I have used ACT is where I started, if anyone's familiar with ACT. And ACT was really good, but it wasn't for our industry. And then I did, I don't know, Teamsy, I did contact mapping, I just did so many different programs, trying desperately to keep my names organized. And all of those systems have their merits for sure, but my team couldn't do them. And also, all they did was contact management, and I needed to be able to do more. I wanted to have in one place my contact management. I wanted my email campaigns in one place. And I'll just share a little aside. I tried to go with one of the big email organizers. You know their name. I won't say it here, but they were a big organized auto responder type email thing. And I was honest. They asked what industry I was in. I said I was in a network marketing company, and they refused to serve me. They said, nope, we won't have clients in that industry. And I thought, are you kidding? Really? This is going to be a huge thing. So I went to two other email programs. I couldn't figure them out. This one, the emails, first of all, here's the thing. I was game as a leader to go figure all that stuff out, but I knew my team wasn't going to be. And most people are going to be maybe 3 to 5 hours a week. They're trying to figure out how to fit this in, how to make a couple $100 extra a month. And once they figure that out, then they're game to do more. But you've got to hit that first marker first. If you remember on my first slide, I said they've got to get a check in the first 90 days. That's on us. That's our job as their sponsor, to put them into a system that really if they will follow that system, almost guarantees that they're going to get a check. And so I did not have a system for how to do that before I had this app. Everything I had was stuff I had created. It was cumbersome and it just wouldn't duplicate. And when you use the app, it's going to duplicate because it's already done. You don't have to create anything. So I just can't encourage you enough to, go slow to go fast, bring people in, take your time to label them. But understand that if you will teach your team and you personally will use the app to learn your numbers, to learn there's only a couple of things you need to focus on. And it really can be simplified down to how many times is someone hearing the story. And if you can see that right on your app through your exposures and your engagements. And if you know that you're doing 100 exposures and you're getting 80 people to engage in the material, that's outstanding. Someone who's doing that needs to be celebrated, needs to be featured. 80% engagement is a super high engagement percentage, and it's excellent, and it should be celebrated because regardless of what their volume might be or what position they might get to, if they will be consistent with that behavior, first of all, anyone can do that. That's the most important part. They didn't have any magic skills to do the exposure except using the app, which in your leadership's already done it for you. But that's what it's all about, is that exposure to engagement ratio over time. And obviously, the more you can do in a compressed period of time, the better. But it's the consistency over time that makes such a difference here. And this app will allow you to keep from losing people. So if someone's not ready now and they're ready in 6 months or they're ready in 2 years, you've got a system to catch them from falling through the cracks. And it's powerful, powerful stuff. So it's that combination here of do stuff for short term, but also have a plan for the long term. And the app covers both of those for you, which is really pretty cool. Awesome, guys. Any other questions? And then if not, we can wrap up, or I can wrap up my side, and then Dawn can add anything that she would like to add. So if I see any hands raised, I'm happy to answer those for you. And I don't see anything else in the app. So Dawn, I am going to mute, and that way, if there's anything else you'd like me to cover, I'm happy to cover it. And you can let me know if there's anything else that you would like me to do here, or we can wrap up.
I think that was fantastic. Thank you so much, Jen. And one of the things I wanted to mention to everyone is that, on Telegram, it's a channel. So it's one-way information. But if you want to brag, that's where you can do that is in Antoine's Facebook group. And I would love to see the wall just covered in brags of everything that you guys are doing on the AdvNav app. So we've done it on purpose that the Telegram is a one-way communication. That way, spammers are not going to get a hold of you. You can stay incognito. But if you're already on Facebook and you're not already in that group, then please go ahead and, feel free to brag there. Secondly, as far as at Cosmetos goes, we have the big kickoff event that's coming in October. And tomorrow is the final day. If you'd like to purchase your ticket and or set up your hotel, they're doing a very special silver drawing. So if you get it done this weekend before end of the week, then you're going to be put in that drawing. Okay, Sandy, I think you asked that question last week. I just want to let you know, everything is always the same. So all the trainings are located in the app under coaching. As well, they are also included on the YouTube. So if you scroll up, I can paste it in here again. If you scroll up, you can see the link that I have that I've posted for our live streaming, and that's for today, but that channel, that playlist has all of them there. I see your hand up. Go ahead and take it away, Jen.
Sandy, let me just share my screen one more time and I can show you where you would find that, okay? So when you open up your app, you would come down here to coaching. Oops, hang on, sorry. I don't know why I can't do my, yeah, I hit something with my thing, but if hopefully you can see my cursor. But right down here where there's the college grad cap, you click on the coaching and it opens up and you have all of your coaching right here. And so the Funnel Fridays, Dawn has done an amazing job of recording everything, editing everything, and getting it loaded. So if you click on that, you will see all of the different weeks. And then she's done a summary on them so you can see what the summary is. So it's right there for you. So let me just repeat those steps so you can find it. It's really straightforward. You're going to come back from your home page. You're just going to come down here to the cap. You're going to click on that cap. And then you're going to click on Funnel Fridays, and the trainings are right there. So hopefully that clarifies for you where they're located. And then let me stop sharing my screen. And then I think we have, okay, good, fine, perfect, excellent. All right, guys. Well, I am going to sign off and thank you so much. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend and enjoy the holiday, enjoy the time with your family, and take advantage of having an amazing app in the palm of your hand so your business is with you everywhere. You never know. Someone might say something over the weekend that makes you go, would you like to take a look at what I do? I can send you a link. Have fun with it. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
You know what's really beautiful? Adding on to her, piggybacking to what she was just saying, what Jen was just saying, is that if you're like out and about at a picnic, at the lake, at the river, at the beach, you don't have to have business cards. You know, they're going to strike up the conversation. Someone's going to mention something about inflation or how it costed so much. They weren't able to buy as many burgers or hot dogs or whatever it is. The cases of beer are low. Something's going to show up. You're going to have an opportunity. You can just pull out your phone and pull up your QR code, ask them to point their phone at it, and ask them to just click the text button, text you their name and information, any name and last name or whatever. And then immediately right then you can add them and send them something. So, and then be on with your day, have fun, forget about it. It's no more business, whatever. And then the next person, 20 minutes later, the same thing can be going on. So I find holidays and family time, when it happens organically, that's the best time. I mean, we don't have to be out there. I'll just say, as a child, my father was like the MLM network marketing guy that everyone cringed on. Every family holiday, he was peddling something. And when he showed up, everyone's skirting around to hide because they don't want to hear the newest thing. So don't be like that. But if the conversation opens up, you have an opportunity. Just let them know we have a way that can help you leverage what's going on with your money. Super exciting. And the AdvNav app really helps you. All right, so let's go ahead and finish strong. Next week, we have our next one, and we'll be here at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We are so delighted that you're joining us. Make sure that you share this with your team because a lot of people, as Jen was saying, may not have that technology skill set and may feel intimidated, but once they start reviewing the training or jumping on, they can see, oh my gosh, anyone can do this. This is super user friendly. So have a great weekend and finish